You want Hey, lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Love Jones, the space where we talk all things love, heartbreak, healing, and those messy in between that nobody really prepares us for. I'm your host, DJ, and you're tuning in to episode 3, the highs and lows of modern dating. All right, so this episode, I will be solo. Believe it or not, I did a full full 30-minute episode with one of my good friends that's very familiar with the highs and lows of modern dating and the dating apps. And we had such an awesome time. Like we laughed and we chuckled. I learned a thing or two from her with the modern dating and the apps. And the dang on episode did not even save y'all. Like I was like, what the heck is really going on? But I took it as what it was. I did kind of talk to her. She was like, none of it saved. And I was like, no. And I'm a type of person, I want it to be real. I want it to be raw and I want it to be unfiltered. So I basically was just like, this episode, I'm going to just have to do it on my own. I'm not really that experienced when it comes to dating apps. I mean, I kind of feel like I've only had encounter one time encounter one time on eHarmony, and I feel like I was definitely catfish. Like, I don't know, the guy had an AI picture or whatever, and I was catfish. And after meeting him for like a little coffee date, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't gonna work for me. And I deleted the app and I have not been back on. However, I am open to it and maybe, in the future, dating apps, I might think about it. I'm more of like the old school love. I want to meet you and, have that instant connection. But hey, I'm definitely open and, dating apps doesn't seem that bad. Now, let's talk about it. This is really going to be real because if you're ever sat there staring at your phone, wondering if you should like text back, if you should like swipe left or block someone for the sake of your sanity, like, trust me, you are not alone. I have been on both ends. I've been on the end where I'm wondering, like, hey, are they going to text back or they're going to swipe? And I've been that person that was like, I'm not going to text back. I'm not going to swipe. But let's start by being honest. Dating today looks nothing like it even did 10 years ago. Last episode, we did kind of have that conversation with my dad. He's been married for 20 years, and I'm just like, things have completely changed. I don't know if it's even possible anymore. However, we're not like meeting people at the grocery store or striking up conversations in a bookstore like some cute, rom com. We're actually meeting people through apps, through Instagram, DMs, through memes and stories, through voice notes that sound more like our auditions than actual communications. And modern dating is fast, it's fleeting, and honestly, sometimes it's fake. Let's be real. It's fake, because it's exciting, it's convenient, and for some, it's even transformational. It's full of like the high highs, like the initial spark, the late night combos, that feeling of the possibility, and then you have some low lows. The ghosting, the mixed signals, the dating fatigue, and the wondering, is it me? Spoiler alert, it is not always you. And just vibes, but no follow through. Now, I feel like the blessing in dating apps, you get to meet people you've never crossed paths with otherwise. You can connect with someone across the city, the country, or even the world. For introverts and like busy professionals or people in new cities, dating apps can be a game changer. Now, here's the curse. The choices overload, surface level combos, people treating others like they're disposable, the what else is out there syndrome that makes us constantly doubt the connection we do have. Let's get into the why. Why is dating in 2025 so complicated? I've talked to multiple, individuals of all ages and asked a few questions. And majority of the reasons did come down to like fear of vulnerability. We're scared to care too much. So we stay chill even when we want more. the fear of rejection. So we reject first or play it safe and keep it casual. Disconnection disguised as connection. We're texting, snapping, DMing, but we are really seeing, but are we really seeing each other? No. And the one that is the biggest, I feel like, too many options. Sometimes the more choices we have, the less we commit to any one thing. And here's the thing, everyone's afraid to care first. But real love, real intimacy, it requires you to care first, even when it's scary. I won't lie. When it works, it's magic. You match with someone and the vibe is instant. You're talking every day. You feel seen, understood, and maybe even excited in a way you haven't felt in a long time. And the dating apps they can lead to something real. People have met their spouses on apps, some have made lifelong friendships, and some have discovered what they actually want in a partner or what they're no longer willing to settle for. And I think that's one of the greatest thing is being able to utilize these apps to, understand like where you are in life. Like, is this something that I can accept or is this something that I won't accept? Or hey, can I talk to a guy that don't have a car? Or, am I okay with him riding the bus? Yeah, those are just some things that I feel like utilizing the app really helps you pinpoint where you really want to be when it comes to dating. So, yes, there are highs, but you have to show up intentionally because love doesn't live in the app, it lives in the effort. Here's what I've learned through my own experiences with modern dating. One, you have to know what you want. Before you go looking for it in someone else, be clear, be honest. Don't play the game if you're not willing to lose. If someone is confused about you, let them go. Even though it might be hard to do that, you got to let them go because at the end of the day, you're prolonging what you want. And you know what I'm saying? It's just you prolonging it for you, for yourself. And most importantly, like if you're tired, it's okay to take a break because love should fill you up and not drain you. It really should. Honestly, it really should. So, where does that leave us? Modern dating isn't easy, but it's not impossible. Real connections are still out there. They just require a little more patience, a little more honesty, and a lot more emotional maturity. Ooh, a lot of emotional maturity. This is something that I'm struggling with. I know my last episode with my father, when as soon as we got off the episode, my daddy knew something was wrong with me. And I just had not been feeling like, in a good headspace for like the past 2 weeks, because I myself deal with things. I have life and I have relationships issues too. I'm still trying to figure it out just like everyone else. So, it is really important to have that emotional maturity because your partner, whoever you are dealing with, it can have an impact on you in your day to day life if you guys are not aligned together. That's something that I'm learning now. And I'm just like, I'm at a point in, I'm at area, a era in my life where I have to deal with somebody that's aligned with me. I can't no longer, look at the potential or be like, maybe one day, we have to be aligned. We have to have that emotional maturity. Now, whether you on the apps or if you're taking a break or figuring it all out as you go, you're not alone. This journey is messy and beautiful and so worth it, even when it hurts. So if you're listening to this and thinking maybe love's not for me, I've thought that a couple of times. Let me be the one to tell you, love is still for you. Love is one of the greatest things of all, and when it finds you, it'll be worth every awkward date and ghosted text. Trust me. So I know I was just talking about earlier how I have been on the dating apps. I was on eHarmony. And I remember the first time I downloaded the app and I was just like, okay, let's see what this is going to be about. And like 10 minutes later, I was like deep in a rabbit hole of just like swiping and swiping and looking and, really based off of vibes and like the selfies and stuff. And however, there was this one guy because it was like multiple guys like hitting me up. And for a moment I was getting like a little like, okay, yeah, I don't like this, like, too many guys hitting me up. But I guess that was the purpose of it. Again, I don't really know nothing about the apps dating and how it's really supposed to be done. I was always the old school type of dating type of girl. However, I was just like, I want to try it and I want to see. So there was this one guy and he was handsome, y'all. He was so handsome on there, and, like, you could tell he was in the gym, his body was built, and, so we started talking, he got in my inbox first, and then we started talking, and then we finally exchanged numbers, and then we was, like, talking every day, and he was such a gentleman, and I was asking all the right questions, and, it seemed like seemed like, hey, he could be the one, so I was like, okay, he finally asked me out on a coffee date. So I was like, "Oh, I know exactly the place that we can go." So I was late on purpose. I don't think I was that late, but I was like maybe 5 or 10 minutes late. So when I walk in, I'm like looking around and I'm like, "Okay, where is this man at?" Like he was supposed to already be here. So it was specific colors we was wearing. So he came, I looked and I seen it, and he was like walking up towards me. Yeah, why he catfish me? Why he catfish me? Like that was not the man that was in that picture. And I was just like, AI is so crazy on these social media. Then he had the nerve to tell me I looked it better in person. And I was just like, well, I can't say the same for you, dude. However, I know it's not when it comes to looks, like I've dated ugly guys before. Trust me, a lot of them. So it's not all about the looks, but that just really, took the cake for me. It was just like, okay, like I really connected with this dude based off of looks, you know what I'm saying? Like, I connected with him on the app based off of looks, and that what made me interested in him to further the conversation. But meeting him in person, I was just like deceived. I was like, yeah, this can't go no farther. So eventually I did like have to, let him down easily and like, hey, I'm not looking. And as soon as that, I got off that app so quick. And I was just like, yeah, that is not for me. The dating apps just really is not for me at all. Now, I'm not gonna lie, apps can be fun, like matching with someone cute, like actually cute in real life. Having a good banter, feeling that little rush of excitement with the conversation when it actually flows. Like, we definitely love that. But then there's the flip side, the exhaustion, the small talk, the what you doing text, the weird bios, like just ask or looking for vibes only. Sir, what are we doing here? What you mean we looking for vibes only? And then on top of that, they be like elderly man looking for the vibes only. Yeah. And don't get me started on the ghosting. Like I said earlier, like I have been on both ends of the ghosting. Like I've been the ghoster and I have been ghosted. And here's the kicker. This might sound really weird and crazy, but when I'm ghosted, I be so happy I'm ghosted because I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I don't have to go through it or deal with it anymore." And if I'm ghosting somebody, it's because I'm like, "Okay, I don't wanna have to communicate and let them know I don't wanna reject them." You know what I'm saying? I don't wanna hurt nobody's feelings, and I don't wanna reject them, so I just be like, "Okay, block and move on." Yeah, that's something I'm working on, guys. That is not good to do, it's good to be able to communicate, especially as we're getting older, we have no explanations and, we don't have to do that, so we do need to be able to let people know, "Hey, you're just not my tea." You're not my Hennessy, or you're just not mine. I don't have to deal with it anymore. But it do be a little heartbreak sometimes, like one minute you're talking about childhood traumas, your favorite sushi spot, and the next poof, gone, no explanation, no closure, just silence. Yeah, so it's definitely weird out here. And honestly, dating apps have made us both more connected and more disposable. We're one swipe away from being forgotten, one wrong answer away from being unmatched. Now, let's really sit in the lows for a second. Because if you've been dating recently and I know you have felt them, like the disappointment of getting your hopes up just to be let down, the confusion of being in a relationship or a situationship that feels like a relationship, but without the actual commitment, that's the worst. The emotional labor are pouring into people who only show up when it's convenient for them. And can we talk about the dating fatigue? Like, actual burnout. You're tired of starting from scratch, tired of answering. So, what do you do? Tired of wondering if someone really likes you or just likes the attention you give them. And then you start asking yourself, is it me? Am I too much? Am I asking for too much? No, you're not. Like, let me pause right there and say this. You are not too much. You're just asking the wrong people to give you what they can't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't do it. Imagine going to, let's just say, imagine going to a steakhouse and all they sell is nothing but steak. And you ask them to bring you sushi and ramen noodles. They're not going to serve you. Why? Because you're at the wrong place asking for some darn sushi and ramen noodles. Baby, it's steak over here. Filet mignon only over here. So, you just have to think like that. You really, especially when you're on these dating apps and the modern dating today, if it ain't working and you feel like you're too much, it's not you. No, it's not you because you will come across that person where you're just enough. You're just enough, and you won't have to ask. You won't have to pretend. You won't have to do none of that, and it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be perfect. It's not perfect, but it will definitely be worth it, and it's gonna be a match made. Well, I can't act like it's all trash because when it's good, it's good. Those late night combos where you lose track of time, that feeling with someone really sees you, like sees your soul, that moment when the energy clicks, the vibe is mutual, and you're like, okay, this might be something. Modern dating can produce real beautiful connections. I've heard success stories, especially with eHarmony dating apps and BLK dating apps. I've lived moments that felt like they were pulled straight from a love song. I'm a lover girl. If you guys don't know yet, I am a lover girl and I will forever be a lover girl to the day I die. Can't nobody get it up out of me. I am a lover girl. However, sometimes you meet someone who teaches you more about yourself, who mirrors back what you need to heal, who shows you that emotional safety is still possible. The highs are real, the hope is real, and even if it doesn't last forever, it can still be worth it. Excuse me, I just, came across somebody really quick. He crossed my mind. However, what's the deal? Like, why does dating seem so complicated these days? I mean, hey, who knows? However, modern dating definitely has taught me, and maybe it's taught you too, like your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to you just because they're available. Mixed signals are a message. So if someone is confusing you, and it's probably because they're not serious at all about you. You can want love and still have boundaries. Wanting a connection doesn't mean you're desperate. And that's something I had to learn. Not that I'm desperate, it's just like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to allow them to be them. And baby, like, I have boundaries. If you cross those boundaries, I'm a leaver. I will leave. I will leave. I would definitely leave. And I'm sorry. Hey, that's just something I have to do. I will leave you. And healing is like the best dating prep because when you know yourself, you stop entertaining what drains you. And modern dating, it has its ups and downs, but don't let the chaos make you cold. Keep your heart soft, stay open, but also protect your peace. Like your life depends on that. If you're listening to this and you're feeling jaded, like you're over it, You're tired of the games. You're ready to delete all the apps and, become a nun. I feel you. I've been there. And I just want you to know, like, you're not alone. Modern dating is hard, but you're doing your best, and that matters. Don't lower your standards. Don't become, and please don't let someone's lack of effort make you question your worth. Love is still for you, not the performative kind, not the transactional kind. However, I'm starting to think that all love is transactional, whether it's, doesn't have to be monetary or something, but I'm kind of think like, oh, okay, like as long as you give me love back, like I'm here. So, hey, love sometimes can be transactional. To me, I'm starting to think that now. But the real and honest love, like I see you, I choose you kind of love, trust me, is coming. It really is. It's just it's there and you do have to be patient with it. All right, guys. So that's a wrap for episode 3 of Love Jones. The modern dating might be chaotic, but it's also an opportunity to grow, to clear on what you want, and to choose yourself every single time. And this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone you're navigating the same space. Tag me on Instagram, Love Jones, LLR. Shoot me a DM. Like, if it's something you want to talk about or you want to join in so we can have a discussion, like, hit me up. This is something that I really enjoy doing. I have got a few comments that you guys want to see my face, but this is a podcast. It's not a talk show. It's a podcast. Maybe next season, I might do something where I'm, doing it live or something and you see my face. But I really do feel like this is something that's, me being able to talk about life, love, and relationships and, the things I'm going through and just in general, it heals me. It's kind of like talk therapy. So it's healing me. And like I told you guys from the beginning, like I'm a lover girl. I'm living in a generation where, the love isn't real, the love isn't genuine. And it's just like, get me out of here. Like somebody come get me and save me. But no, real talk. If no one told you this week you're worthy of real love, of consistent effort, being chosen, you always have been and you always will be. As always, keep God first and lead with love. Until next time, stay soft, stay grounded, and never settle for less than what makes you feel safe. Love you. I mean it. And talk to you later.
Love, life, and relationships. We will love, life, love, relationships.